Hi there, folks. Welcome to my video on caliber. Does it really matter for civilian defensive gun use? Well, the answer is yes, of course, or no, not at all, or maybe sometimes. So let's get into it, and I'm going to give you some real data. And as you see all these hollow points here, I do my own ballistics testing. Look at my Paul Harrell tribute playlist. They are all in there using modern meat target, using old GunSam bologna meat and bone target, using water jugs that is scientifically validated organic gel. And look at my first modern meat target 9v40 to really learn about anatomy and how bullets perform. So will it really make a difference in your defensive gun use? Yes, no, maybe. Will it if it's an undetermined single attacker? No, the 380 might send them off. Maybe even if it's 3 attackers, which you must be prepared for, the 380 might send them running. But God forbid, what if you hit 1 out of the 3, the one that was closest to you? Maybe you actually shot 1 halfway a good time and 1 peripheral crappy hit, because at most people only hit 20% of their shots. Law enforcement for forever. Please look at my gunfight statistics 1, 2, and 3 to learn a lot more about average distance, average shot fired, what is possible, somewhat likely, etc. and so forth. What about a 38 special? Can a 38 get it done? Well, in the old days, a 4-inch barreled 38 definitely could get it done, even with the hold tech like the FBI load. But that stuff never worked good from snubs, especially this is a 2-inch barrel or shorter 1 7/8 J frames getting hollow point expansion. Now bullet tech is getting better, so you must pick the best bullets. Now, could that get it done? Absolutely, has for a long time. Is 6 shots enough? I say 9 is minimum in gun, or you need to carry 2 revolvers. Again, look at Gunfight Statistics 3, all the best real statistics out there. Everyone's just like, well, 9mm is good enough. Typically, with the best hollow points, is it? Yeah. Is 40 and 45 still better? No one wants to admit that, but on a shot for shot basis, all else being equal, if we're only talking terminal ballistics, with the similar hollow points, they get bigger. Why does that matter? Number one, caliber might matter because the bigger expanded hollow point, and guys, you don't carry with FMJ, you carry with the bestest hollow point, something like an HST or a Federal Punch. The bigger it is, the more likely it is to hit a vital structure. Handguns suck at stopping power, no matter the caliber. They are not rifles. They are not shotguns. Okay, totally different things. Totally different things. Bad guys often take 3 to 9 shots, maybe in the double digits, until they decide to stop being a deadly threat. So this is old data. HSTs have changed a little bit, but let's look at 124 plus P. My favorite used to expand as 61 after going 4-layer heavy clothing, FBI style testing, and organic gel. Clear ballistics YouTubers, clear ballistics is absolutely not organic gel. Look at my modern meat target testing. So 0.61. The 147, they used to say, got to 0.69. Now, that might be max expansion and not average, but this is old data, and they have changed the double conallure. They go deeper and don't expand as much. I'll give you a little bit of proof on that. 40 HST 180 grain, which always performs good from what I am told by the top expert at Federal, Chris Locke, 0.80. I'm going to show you the bullets in a minute. 45 HST goes to 0.87. The bigger it is, the more likely it is to hit a vital structure. But of course, all the other factors, how good you can shoot, recoil control, shootability, everything else comes into play. Are you going to actually carry it every day when you actually need it? Instead of just, oh, sometimes you're a psychic. Everyday carry. So that matters. So let's talk about some modern data. The 380 with the bestest hollow point there is, a Hyrdashok Deep, goes 13.5 inches in heavy clothing, 0.514 expansion. That's the official numbers from Federal. In your own testing and this and that, a very good hollow point gets 47 or 49 from ballistics testers. Again, clear ballistics doesn't matter. MDF makes it better. Like GunSam or my friend Trigger Bar Philosopher, etc. That definitely makes the clear ballistic synthetic junk better. I do water jugs and modern meat target, etc. And I have very good correlation to organic gel. So the bestest one, Federal's claiming 0.51 for expansion, 13.5 inches, so deep enough, big enough, but is it big enough? 38 Special, now we're going to step up. 38 Special, Hydrashok Deep, which in my opinion, and Chris Locks at Federal, the best around. Why? Because it goes deep, baby. 38 Special, Hydrashok Deep, 130 plus P, goes 13.4 inches with 0.548 expansion through heavy clothing, which I've tested in various ways. Here's just 2 of the Hydrashok Deeps. Look at that bullet performance, and I do very hard protocols. The 380s, similar bullets, is going to be just a tad bit smaller. Same thing when we go to punch. This is punch from this very snub. Okay, so Hydrashok Deep versus punch. Punch is probably your second best load in 380. And there are a few other ones from snubs. Again, 4-inch barrel, it's pretty easy. This is Paul Harrell ammo through my first ever test. The Remington 125 plus P semi-jacketed hollowpoint. That is not nearly as big as the Hydrashok Deep or the punch. Okay, so getting the best hollowpoints you can matters. The punch is going to perform, especially from this long barrel, just fine. Let's look at 9mm. We have a P4 punch there, and then even bigger HST and HST. Will that do the job? Yes, HSTs, especially 124 plus P or 147 from a long barrel, like a full size, or 124 plus P gold dot, again from G17s or 47s, a full size, has done it for law enforcement now for a good long time. Do bad guys seem to react as quickly? Fibs, if I've been shot, do they react as quickly as they do to 40, 45, and 357 Magnum? It seems not. Anecdotally, it seems like they don't realize they've been shot. There could be a few reasons for that. Maybe muzzle energy. That really doesn't matter. It's more likely momentum. Maybe EKE. How much energy is spent in the 5.9 inches or 15 centimeters? E15. People think it doesn't matter much anymore, but certainly back in the day, Secret Service did when they picked, and other people when they were picking rounds that were good for the tech at the time, like 357 SIG, like 115 plus P+. Here is the 40 punch from a snub nose revolver. Yes, there's the 40 punch. There's a 40 HST. Well, that's pretty darn big. Okay, and I don't think 180s have ever failed in any reel, and 40 was used so long in law enforcement, and it also works very good from a short barrel like this 3.6. 40 is still my choice for wintertime carry. I might change to bigger red dotted 9mm, longer barrel, but I still have been carrying 40 in the winters, because it has so much energy, it is still likely to expand going through many, many multiple layers of clothing. Let's look at 45. The problem with 45 is I can't find a 45 that is light enough, reliable enough, with at least the 8+1 magazine capacity, and 10+1 is much more preferred, or 13+1, because everything else I carry is at least 12+1 of capacity. Let's look at the critical duties, 220 plus P. Those are not that awesome. I think 147 HST might expand as big, and it's definitely not bigger than the 180 40 HST, and these are 45 plus Ps. From 2 different barrel lengths, mind you. And I didn't have this long until just now. This is a Golden Saber standard pressure. I don't know if this was from the short or the medium barrel, but certainly a 185 from a long barrel, and I have FBI data from a 5-inch, is the same as a 3.6 inch with the 185 plus P. Golden Saber still gets it done. Now, is it as big as these 45 tarantulas? If I put 2, 3, 45 tarantulas into someone's upper thoracic cavity, meaning I'm actually a good shot, that trains a whole lot, I am much, much more likely percentage-wise to like a vital structure, an aorta, nick the spine, a venous, something, a major vein or artery, okay? So can anything do it quite like a 45 HST? And we have real-world anecdotes from Daryl Bolke, who, was in a lot of officer-involved shootings, that he saw people drop like rocks with a 230+ P. This soon will be my home defense pistol, as soon as I vet some hollow points, 2 mags, a bunch of different hollow points, and hopefully get this rear drifted a little bit. So this is soon to be my home defense pistol, as you see there. Too heavy, too big to carry concealed, though. This, you can do it, but now we're talking 35 ounces instead of 30 ounces with 13+1 of 40 versus like a 15+1 9mm subcompact or macro size. It's 5 ounces heavier in weight. Again, the 45s, even smaller ones, you go 8+1, the minimum's 35 ounces. To get 10+1, only like a G30 will do, etc. So, will this do? If they're not the most dedicated, especially summertime, not going through heavy clothing, yeah. Will this do as long as you get the very best hollow points, Hyrdashok Deep, punch, etc.? Yeah. Will it do if you have mediocre ammo? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Will it do if recoil is so bad, your recoil control in an ultralight frame like this, or worse, a J frame, you have to go to WADCUTTERs. Now, full WADCUTTERs do good damage, but compared to this Hydrashok Deep, this is 2.6 inches of cubic inches of tissue crush, also known as total wound volume, whereas a full WADCUTTER does 1.6. 2.6 versus 1.6. I'll take the bigger, more likely to nick. That's the most important. But total wound volume or tissue crush means the faster they lose blood. The faster they lose blood, the less good they are at trying to kill you, trying to stab you, because they eventually start getting woozy from diastolic pressure loss. How important that is, I don't know. I just know if I did have someone dedicated, psycho, 5150, crazy, psycho, high attacker with a knife or machete, I'd prefer it to be a 40 or 45 with HST. Yes, I feel more confident that I put a few in the right place in the upper thoracic cavity and more likely to nick something with one of these big old things. That is the difference in handgun calibers. Is there that much of a difference? If you go by Greg Ellifritz's cop who studied these things, multiple shots to the bodies, it's not how effective they are, it's more how many times, shooting someone a few times, they did not stop their deadly force actions. They kept charging forward, trying to stab you or hit you or shoot you, whatever. Anywhere from 380 to 45. With hollow points, you're looking at between a 13 to 17% failure rate. That maybe even if I shoot someone 3 times, which is the average he found. The average, again, you're going to have outliers at 9, 10, 12 times they need to be hit. 13 to 17% of the time, they are not going to stop. And that is 380 and above. If you go to anything smaller than 380, all the pocket calibers, the 32s, the 22s, the 25, God forbid, etc., pocket calibers, 22 Magnum, the failure rate is way higher. You're putting little itty-bitty tiny bullets instead of 38, 389 mil, all being the same 355, a 40 like that, or a 45 like that, and then it gets bigger. Also, bigger bullets don't shrink. Now, will it really matter in your defensive gun use? Probably not, because most likely it's a robbery or assault, and they hopefully are going to run away and only shoot at you a few times. Now, you hit that 1 out of the 3, 1 or 2 ran away, 1 you hit, and now he is bent over or down on the ground, and you're still having to shoot him a lot of times. This runs out of capacity. You're only 3 yards away from him. He's down on the ground and kneeling over, as his homies ran away and left him behind like the cowards they are, and you have to keep shooting. That is possible, or transition to a CPU headshot, because the only way pistols are good stoppers if you hit the upper spine or the right area ocular cavity of the head, or, on an angle, depending, into the ear, the back of the cerebellum, and all that. Okay, so Will it make a difference? Maybe not. Everyone nowadays says 9mm up. Other people say 38 or up. A lot of cops said 380 no. But that's when everyone was still recommending FMJ like the idiots they are now. I have another video on that, 380 versus 38 coming up. As long as you have one of the better hollow points, at least for summer carry from a long barrel. This is not a 2.8. This is a 3.8. This is not a 2.8 Ruger LCP Max or Bodyguard 2.0. That is very hard to get hollow point expansion, especially if they have more than a t-shirt on. If they have 2-3 layers of clothing, an undershirt and a jacket, God forbid it hits the pocket, you're not as likely to get hollow point expansion. Also, theoretical, maybe little 3.55 bullets, no matter what the caliber, if it's FMJ or, God forbid, a lead round nose back in the day known as the Widowmaker, they just skim through. They don't disrupt a lot of tissue. It's fluid dynamics. Also, my theory is low EKE, low energy. Bad guys do not realize if I've been shot. In modern video, even from Glock 17's 4.5-inch barrel with 124 plus P gold dots or 135 plus P critical duty is most of the footage we see nowadays. Guys are getting shot 5, 6, 7 times. They don't realize they've been shot to the 5th or 6th time. They stumble, they reevaluate, they move, they maneuver, they realize they're going to die anyway, and then they re-attack. Again, if you had a crazy knife machete attacker coming, what would you want? Or what do you at least want in wintertime? Because 40 or 45, and 40 is more likely to expand through a lot of clothing, in my opinion. They do not shrink. But will it make a difference? Maybe. Yes. Maybe no. Maybe. Because maybe I got to shoot him a whole bunch of times, and in that time he manages to also shoot me or stab me. Maybe. Less likely. Accepted, as now that we have better hollow points than before. Good. Let's grab a 38 Hydrashok Deep, and again, the 380 will be a tiny bit smaller versus a 9mm, I believe. There's a good old 45. 45s. There's a 40. Okay, so 38 special, 9mm HST, 38 Hydrashok Deep, 9mm HST, 40 180 grain HST. Can you tell how much bigger that is? And then a 45 HST. Now that's a bit of a fluke there, but a 45 Tarantula, and I have another Tarantula here somewhere that fell off. Here's another 45 Tarantula, and that one was 3.6 inch, one was 4.25 commander size. So will it really matter? Maybe yes, maybe no. What's more important is that you get good at shooting, drawing quickly, being able to shoot at least an 8-inch IDPA, and more importantly, it's all about hitting the heart or the CPU. Probably a 4x6 card vertically, and then a 3x5 head box horizontally. That's really what you need to do with a handgun to actually physiologically stop someone. So hopefully that gives you some data of how handgun ballistics actually work, what the difference are between calibers. Don't tell me that there's no difference, because if this nicks the heart, the aorta, the spine, and certain veins, major things in the body, and even other organs, this makes them bleed out a lot faster. Heart shots might take 8 to 15 seconds, but this makes them bleed out and be less good at killing a whole lot faster than this that misses the critical structure. That's the biggest thing, but overall this is going to cause a lot more blood loss a lot quicker. So everyone that tells you there is no difference, there is no difference maybe in some outcomes, and there maybe is a huge difference in some outcomes. And that's all I can tell you, is that with the best bullets, Hydrashok Deep or Punch, or a plus PXTP, I might carry this to nice areas in summer. This is a good backup or always gun in the pocket, but that's not good enough for a belt gun. I don't like the low capacity. This is a very good summer gun, and maybe all the time, 15+1 with 9mm HSTs or Punch. This is maybe probably better in winter, but we're getting a lot heavier. So if you leave it at home, any of these would be a lot better. 40 HSTs, especially 180 grain or 165, but 180s get bigger. And 230 HSTs or Punch is the way to go. Too big to carry. Don't leave this at home and not carry. So this will be my handgun defense. When I roll out of bed, I grab it. I have clips so I can pull it. Got the light, or I just shove it in the DCC clips in the underwear, and then you grab the semi-auto 12 gauge or the evil black rifle. And there you guys go. So will it make a difference? It's a maybe. It's what you are comfortable with, but more importantly, how good can you shoot? If you can't shoot 40, get a 9mm. And it depends on the platform. Old Glocks were not built till Gen 5, so 40 got a bad rap. But an M&P 2.0, other good stuff like HKs that handle 40, you can probably do it if you've been trained a little while. Or you might just go 9mm cheaper, the most available, good hollow points available. You might just go 9mm. But if you're not going to carry the 9mm or you can't handle the recoil, a 380 like this that is wide, not a little itty-bitty lightweight LCP, but a wider 380 like this, or maybe a Smith & Wesson Easy, if you can hit the heart or the head, the grapefruit or the ocular cavity, like the size of a grapefruit, is what you're going for with this or this, then it's a lot better than this or bigger because it's hitting the small spots. So it depends on your physicality, your experience, how much you've trained, if you've gone to paid training, how often you shoot, you know, once or twice a year versus 3 times a month are a huge difference in skill development, as you've seen over the years with me. So you guys, let me know what you think in the comment down below. What do you usually carry? What's your minimum? Would you go to 380 or 38? Some of you were like, I got a 32 Kel-Tec. Is that better than anything? Yeah, but the failure rate goes way, way down. So before we finish up, just let me, we're so long anyway. Current 147 HST from my Glock 47, 4.5-inch barrel, goes 14.6 inches through heavy clothing and 0.60 expansion. The 9mm punch from a little Glock 43, 3.4-inch barrel, goes 13.4 in 61. So for a cheap round, that 9mm punch and that 40 punch, I've tested them myself. You saw it. They do really, really good. So if you're in a big box store, buy punch. If you're really serious, look online for 50-round boxes of HST. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Will it matter? It might. It might not. I don't know. Go 380 or up at the best hollow points, not a 2.8-inch 380 with ball. Okay? Failure rate's going way up. And hopefully you guys get better at shooting and do what you need to do. Like, share, subscribe. Always comment which of these are your favorite pistols or calibers, etc. And what do you carry, or what is your minimum comfort level, both capacity-wise and caliber-wise. Look at gunfight statistics 1, 2, and 3.